What is up, everyone? It is AnimeALX back again with another One Piece video. Like I said to you, I was going to start my anime podcast, or at least do more anime YouTube videos at the start of 2022, and here we are. I did not see a new chapter of One Piece, so in place of trying to review a new chapter of One Piece, we are actually going to be doing a new YouTube series where I'm going to power scale One Piece characters. And let's power scale one of my favorite One Piece characters and one of the most ambiguous One Piece characters, Sabo. Now, I thought this was going to be a really good starting video because I think there's a lot of questions in Sabo's power level currently in the series, and we don't know a lot about him. He's still fairly a new character, with all things said. We saw him for the first time in a flashback of his younger self back at like post Marineford arc, and then we saw him all grown up at Dressrosa. Now, what I am going to be doing is trying to power scale and fit him within the current manga chapter of One Piece. There might be spoilers, I'm sorry, but all I can say is that you have been warned. We're going to try our best to power scale the characters within this current arc of One Piece and see where they sit amongst the hierarchy. Now, I might be wrong on some things, and if I am wrong, please let me know in the comment section down below, and we can have a civil discussion on it. All this is for fun. I don't mean to put any characters down. I don't mean to overhype other characters. I'm just doing this just for fun and just fun theories. Now, going in to One Piece lore, we know that Sabo is best friends with Ace and Luffy growing up in the Goa Kingdom. Now, the crazy part about him, the first time we've met Sabo, he was at age 10. We know that compared to Luffy, which Luffy is age 7, so, and I believe that is a year, that's either a year before Luffy has met Shanks or a couple months before Luffy met Shanks. Now, we know that Sabo is age 10, which makes Ace around age 10, a little bit older than Sabo by a couple of months. And the thing is with Sabo, we know that he's always won against Luffy. He's never lost against Luffy around that age. But he usually goes even, but loses most of the matches against Ace. So we can put Ace above Sabo, but Sabo above Luffy at age 10. And the interesting thing that I thought of on my car ride while I was driving back to my house was that Sabo, Ace, and Luffy kind of, their characters kind of mirror each other in a sense where Ace is the character that starts out the strongest, but progressively, I don't want to say progressively gets weaker, but everyone else kind of catches up to his power and surpasses him. Sabo, when he gets reintroduced in the middle of the series, is at some of his peak strength, and he's just insanely strong. And then Luffy, obviously being the main character, he starts out weak, but then he's going to progressively become the strongest character in One Piece without a doubt. It's kind of funny how they all three kind of mirror each other in different like aspects of power at different points of time. Now, we know that Sabo, upon getting destroyed by one of the celestial dragons and then getting saved by Monkey D. Dragon, Luffy's father, biological father, we know that Sabo was kind of in the middle of everyone. He wasn't stronger than Ace technically, even though he was near his power. He was definitely stronger with Luffy, and then Dragon scoops him up, and then he's a part of the Revolutionary Army. So, before we get into Dressrosa Sabo, we know that Sabo, we see him in a flashback at age 17. Now, at age 17, we do not know if he was actually the chief of staff at age 17, but we know that he knew Haki at age 17. He was already proficient in armament Haki when he destroyed that whole marine base by himself, while Koala and Hack was kind of chilling in the back. We know that Sabo was a master at armament, or maybe not a master, but he was proficient in armament Haki and proficient in observation Haki, to where he can basically scout out hundreds of soldiers, right? And him using the Ryu Soken and only armament Haki could destroy a whole marine base by himself. So, from this point, we know that at age 17, this is a couple of years. I want to say this is a couple of years before Luffy set sail, because Luffy set sail at age 17. So that means, since they're 3 years apart, Luffy would have been 14, still chilling at the island, about to prepare himself to set sail within 3 years. Sabo's already mastered Haki, or can use it to a destructive level at this time. So before One Piece ever started, Sabo was basically using observation, using armament Haki, and was pretty much flexing on people. And we can also power scale him to at least Ace. And Ace, during his own story, I actually really do forget at which age Ace actually joined the Whitebeard Pirates, because we know Ace actually started his journey out right now. So Ace actually is starting up the Ace Pirates. He doesn't have the Mera fruit, or maybe this is a couple of months into the year where Ace started his pirate adventures and ate the Mera no Mi. So we know that Ace is either he's eaten the Mera no Mi at this point in time, or he's just Ace starting off. So Sabo, without a doubt, is stronger than Ace at age 17 at this time. Now, let's forward the dials at Sabo, or for Sabo at age 20, which this would be Sabo when Luffy basically started his journey across the East Blue, and Sabo also being the same age as Ace, being with Ace being the second division Whitebeard commander. Now, here's where things are going to get a little iffy within power scaling. Now, due to Ace being shown up in the beginning of the series, all we've known is that Ace, all Ace does is just turn himself into fire and use his Devil Fruit. Haki wasn't really a concept, or a solid concept at this point in time of the story. So all we can really go off of is that Ace technically does have Haki at that point of this story, due to his little side novel and how it states that he does know Haki. Obviously, he's been chilling in the New World for a bit, so he will know something of Haki. He's a Yonko commander for sakes, so Ace knows Haki. But what we can see and kind of inference is that Ace probably isn't the best in hockey, because most of his attacks is just his devil fruit attacks. Sabo at age 17 was already really proficient in hockey, so Sabo at age 20 still using the Ryu Soken is probably like just leaps and bounds in hockey expertise than Ace. So we can say that Sabo at this point in time is probably equal to that of Ace, if not even still stronger than Ace, due to his hockey expertise, because we all know that hockey is fairly a big boost in power towards the later half of the series. And so I kind of want to say that Sabo is stronger than Ace, and we know Ace hasn't awakened the Mera no Mi. We know at that point in time, we know that Ace isn't that proficient in hockey, and we know that Ace's strength just comes from the Mera no Mi's destructive capabilities using fire. So, not saying that Ace is weak. Ace is also one of my favorite characters. But I am also saying that in realistic wise, Ace really just kind of tackled a lot of his fights just with full destructive force of the Mera no Mi, not really using hockey or not really like just incorporating it at an expert level. He just kind of let his devil fruit do all the fighting for him, while Sabo has trained his hockey, his observation. He basically trained both his observation and armament hockey. He's trained his martial arts underneath Dragon. At this point in time, he's pretty much the second. He's basically the chief of staff, or the number 2 of the Revolutionary Army by age 20. I'm going to just throw that out there because I doubt he was just age 22 in the Revolutionary Army's number 2. I feel like Sabo has been the number 2 for at least 2 years now, because he has been shown like ordering around like Hack and Koala in the flashbacks. So I want to say maybe around age 17 to 20, I want to say he became the chief of staff at age 20 due to my own headcanon. But from there, you have the number 2. You have the number 2 of the Revolutionary Army and Sabo, and the 2nd Division commander in Ace. So their power levels could be similar, but I kind of want to give Sabo the edge on this one. And then, obviously, after Marineford, Ace gets captured, yada, 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 and Ace basically starts, the capturing of Ace starts the whole Paramount War, and we see that Luffy's strong at this point, but he's not capable of fighting with the big boys. He's not capable of fighting with the admirals. He's not capable of like standing toe to toe with Whitebeard and Blackbeard even in this situation. And so a lot of Luffy's resilience during that arc was just off of sheer tenacity. Hit Luffy tapping into Conqueror's Haki for one of the first times in the series that he remembers doing. Obviously, he's had a run-in with Conqueror's Haki before in the Amazon Lily arc when he met the Amazon tribe, the Amazonians. So Luffy has an understanding of Haki around this point in time, or at least Conqueror's Haki around this point in time, but he doesn't know how to control it. He's also shown glimpses of it in Sabo Odi, but since Luffy doesn't know how to control Haki at this point in time, we could still say Sabo and Ace are stronger than Luffy. And then once Luffy rescues Ace, we see how all that handles all that goes down. In spoiler alerts, we know that Ace dies through Akainu trying to save Luffy. Luffy wasn't strong enough to basically handle himself, so Ace had to sacrifice himself. And at this point in time of the story, we just never know where Ace kind of sits, because he died fairly early on in the series, like in the earlier half of the series, towards the ending of the earlier half, that is. And we don't know what Ace's power would have been post time skip. We don't know about Ace's. All we really do know about Ace's power is that he peaked at Marineford, which is a really crappy thing to say because Ace obviously had so much more potential in that character, but he peaked at Marineford. There was a little what if manga if Sabo did pull up to Marineford. It showed that Sabo would have rescued both Ace and Luffy, so we could say Sabo at least overpowers Ace. We're going to take that with a grain of salt because it's not canon, but if what that writing is true, then apparently Sabo would undoubtedly be stronger than Ace and Luffy. But if you do want to really use the headcanon of, oh, Ace wasn't at his full 100% peak, which I could accept that since he was starved and beaten and tortured up to that point, you could say Sabo in that moment was stronger than Ace, and then Sabo and Ace might be around the same level. But here is where we go into the post time skip. So the next time we meet Sabo is actually at Dressrosa, and he is age 22. Now, we know that during the Colosseum portion of Dressrosa, they're fighting for the Mera no Mi. Obviously, Luffy wants it just because it's Ace's devil fruit, and he wants to get it out of Doflamingo's hands. But then Sabo comes up and says, "Hey, Luffy, I got it." And it's Sabo, Luffy, and Sabo has an emotional breakdown reaction, and then Sabo wins the Colosseum because he's Sabo. Keep in mind, Burgess was also in that tournament, and Burgess is the first Titanic commander of Blackbeard's crew. So he's a first commander. So we all know Burgess is pretty silly, but to put some respect on Burgess's name, Burgess is a first division commander, right? And we know that sorry about that. So we know that Sabo currently has bested Burgess not once but twice, while Sabo he bested him before he ate the Mera no Mi, and then after he ate the Mera no Mi. Now, the Mera no Mi might not have given Sabo a boost in power after eating it, but it did for sure make Sabo gain a lot of extra skills that he can basically delve into the next time that we see him in the series, which I'll get to that in a second. Now, Sabo, obviously, we can power scale Sabo above first Yonko commander, at least for Blackbeard. So Sabo, we know, is definitely stronger than the first commander of the Blackbeard Pirates, which is a Yonko crew at this stage of the game. We have seen Sabo completely destroy vice commanders and just vice admirals in the Marines. We have seen him completely foderize vice admirals, and we know vice admirals do hold a significant power and position within the world government. So we're not going to disrespect on vice admirals that much. So we know that Sabo completely trumps vice admirals, completely trumps first commanders. And so now the question is, where does Sabo sit in the power scaling? Now, we've seen him have a run-in with Fujitora that didn't really last long in the film, which we're not really going to take per verbatim, but we can also see that they are keeping Sabo fairly still strong with him running into Fujitora and other admirals during the One Piece Stampede movie, but we're not really going to use that because that's not canon. But it's still notable that I believe Oda's trying to make it to where Sabo can, he may not be stronger than an admiral at this point in time of the series, but he can stand toe to toe to an admiral. And at Dressrosa, Luffy was not at the capabilities of standing toe to toe to an admiral. Now we flash forward to the Reverie arc. I am not going to call it the Lovely. That sounds very weird, but we are going to fast forward to the Reverie arc where we see Sabo, and we know that Sabo on the third day or the second day, whichever day, when he's trying to rescue Kuma, we know that Sabo himself basically tried to rescue Kuma, and he ended up fighting Green Bull and Fujitora. And so we know that Sabo himself can fight these high-level individuals, but then after that, we don't really know what happened. All we know is Sabo's missing, but Vivi is also missing, and we don't know that. So we're probably going to figure that out after Wano. We don't know what happened. One of my headcanons is that Bartholomew Kuma basically sent Sabo away, and maybe Sabo's going to pop up in Wano. Maybe CP0 will have a run-in with Luffy post Kaido fight, and they'll tell him what happened in the Reverie, and now Luffy's like going back and backtracking all the way to the Red Line just to meet up with Sabo and save the Revolutionary Army. Who knows? It's very up in the air at this point, but we know for a fact that Sabo has to be above first commander level. And despite the 602,000 berry bounty that he had upon meeting him in Dressrosa, which we can always just chalk that down to they wanted to save the 1 billion berry bounty mark for Katakuri, we know that Sabo, without a doubt, has to be above he has to be above 1 billion, possibly even 2 billion for waging essentially war in attacking the capital. So Sabo has to be within that range. We know that Sabo is stronger than Burgess. Now, Sabo being stronger than Katakuri and Sabo being stronger with King, stronger than King, and possibly Ben Beckman. Now, Ben Beckman, that's just a whole other thing. I'm not going to do mental gymnastics just to figure out how he stands up to Ben Beckman, but to King and to Katakuri, I can say this. Due to the amount of time between Dressrosa and Wano, we know that Sabo has been nonstop training, trying to use his Maramara no Mi. My belief is that Sabo is going to show that he awakened the Maramara no Mi powers, and we might get like blue flames, and that's like the true, because obviously blue flames are hotter than red flames, and we might get, and Sabo wears a lot of blue, and so I can make an assumption that Sabo's going to awaken the Maramara no Mi. He's going to have blue flames. The Maramara no Mi is going to essentially, like, Sabo's basically going to make the Maramara no Mi like synonymous with himself and not Ace. Like, he's going to surpass Ace is what I'm trying to say with the Maramara no Mi. And Sabo's going to basically be at a higher position than Katakuri and King within the series. And we're going to see the remnant or the glimmering or the start of awakened Logias, and I feel like Sabo is going to be the first awakened Logia user that we've seen in the series. That's my headcanon. That's my theories on it. But I do believe, as of currently, Sabo using his own physical strength Sabo using his own hockey is definitely above Burgess. And Burgess still has some pretty notable hockey himself using his elbow attack. So to put him next to King, let's think of some factors. So Sabo's hockey is probably good enough to hurt or harm King, but King is also a Lunarian, and he's also an ancient zone user, so King is going to have some pretty good stamina, not going to lie. So Sabo versus King is probably a high diff fight without a doubt. And I feel like the factor is if Sabo never ate the Maramara no Mi, then maybe Sabo would probably go even with King. Possibly King. I would say they would possibly go even, but since Sabo ate the Maramara no Mi and he might have different tricks and whatnot to combat King, currently I feel like Sabo is possibly above King. Because we need to be realistic and say that Sabo has to be in the gray area that he's underneath Yonko and pretty much underneath admirals, or either equal to admirals but above first commanders. So I'm kind of trying to power scale him to other commanders. He also possibly can be equal to certain commanders like Ben Beckman. I believe that Ben Beckman possibly might be stronger than Sabo, or they could be equal. But without a doubt, I would say that Sabo, with seeing Sabo in the series, we know that Ace was stronger than the whole entirety of the Straw Hat crew during Alabasta arc, so that would mean Sabo would be stronger than all of them. We know that Sabo was definitely stronger than all of them during the Dressrosa arc. And if Sabo really wanted to, I bet Sabo could have just fought Doflamingo and just saved the whole town if he wasn't really preoccupied with Fujitora at that point in time. So, and that was like basically a writer's way of, oh, let's write off Sabo so he doesn't surpass Luffy and take the spotlight off of the main characters. So we all know why Sabo got written off of Dressrosa and was distracted by Fujitora. And now we're getting to a part where the next arc is probably going to center around Sabo, and we're going to see more of Sabo's skills, how he's been using the Maramara no Mi, his true power. He possibly can have future sight observation hockey. He could probably have observation hockey on the level of Katakuri for all we know at this current point, or they could just shoehorn in how Sabo basically knows how to use advanced armament hockey, and now Sabo is just leaps and bounds above Katakuri and King. So we don't really know. All I can say is Sabo is definitely either equal to that of the admirals and above first commanders, or at least equal to that of some admirals and equal to that of some first commanders, while being ahead of others such as Burgess, Katakuri, and King. And he might just be equal to Ben Beckman. That is basically my power scaling of Sabo. And if we want to go in and say power scaling of Sabo towards Luffy at this current point and moment, Luffy is fighting Kaido, which is a Yonko. I don't really believe that Sabo can fight a Yonko, so I kind of want to say Luffy is stronger than Sabo, but all of that kind of remains to be seen for the next time we meet Sabo in the series, because Oda can throw us a fastball and be like, oh yeah, Sabo had all of these advanced hockey techniques and Sabo's still stronger than Luffy at the end of the day. We don't know. But for all of that time that we have theorizing Sabo's power level, I hope you guys enjoyed, and check me out later. Check me out in the future power scaling videos, and hopefully we can get to a census of where characters stand within other characters in the One Piece hierarchy of power. With all that being said, Check me out on twitch.tv/AnimeALX. All the links will be in the description. I have just started playing One Piece Pirate Warriors 4 on my PC, so check that out. It's going to be a fun time, and see you in the next one. Peace out, all my fellow weebs and weebs.